monitoring the severe threat for the Gulf Coast this afternoon and this evening, and it is a much higher level of severe threat than what we would see with a typical storm system in March, and so far it's one of the more substantial threats that we've seen by far at any time this spring storm season. This is our severe weather season, March and April, and looking at it right now, we've got a severe line of storms. This is going to be the squall line here, and then we're just having to keep an eye on everything breaking out ahead of the main line up near Meridian and to the north up towards Macon, Mississippi. We've seen a number of tornadic supercells here, and so we're going to watch out for those as they track on off towards the northeast. And then we've got the line itself, which may not come through our area until much later tonight. We've got a long ways to go before all this begins to wrap up in our area, and that's going to happen in the early morning hours. So that's a look at the overview right there. Let's take a look at our local radar, and presently we're in good shape. And, you know, we're going to be updating this radar with our live feed here on our streaming platforms and also on Fox 10 News at 4, 5, and 9 p.m. and have team coverage. Meteorologist Michael White will be joining me this evening as we're going to be closely monitoring the severe weather threat for you. And you can see up into Greene, George, and up into Washington counties, we're getting some showers ahead of the main line. They've been showing some broad rotation, but so far they've not been able to materialize into severe cells, fortunately. These off to the west are a little more alarming looking, but these too have not gotten to the point where they've become tornadic between Lucedale and Hattiesburg. And as they get over to our area, the atmosphere is going to destabilize and moisten up a little bit, so we've got to watch out for that downstream of the main event. Eventually, what can happen is these lines here ahead of the main squall line, these prefrontal squall lines, can actually become the dominant squall line and become tornadic, and so we have to watch out for that possibility as we get into this evening. Got a little shower up near the Vinegar Bend area and up near State Line right now, also as we're looking at some showers and storms to the west. Let's go into the velocity scan, and right now I'm not seeing anything that's showing any major rotation in our area. Some of these storms off to the west have had a little bit of broad rotation. Looks like we're seeing that one there near the Richton community. Again, a little bit of broad rotation, but so far so good. So we're always keeping an eye on that velocity scan, watching out for any rotation that could prompt a warning. A couple of warnings up right now here further up near Macon, Mississippi, and heading up towards Brooksville and Saltillo, areas to the south and east of Tupelo under a warning. And then the yellow area here, this is a tornado watch that stretches over into our area. It includes Washington, Clark, and Greene counties for now until 7, and we may see this watch expanded. I'd be surprised if it wasn't expanded further over into our area. Taking a look at the alerts locally, there are the counties that are currently under a tornado watch, meaning conditions favorable for tornadoes. Doesn't mean we have one active on the ground, but it means that's a possibility. Greene County, Washington, and Clark counties. And the severe threat is very substantial and significant. We've got a large area under a moderate risk for severe weather from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, into southwest Mississippi, into central and eastern Mississippi, and all the way up into east and northeastern Mississippi. And then in our area, a piece of that moderate risk actually covers our part of the Gulf Coast, which really is unusual. We're looking at Washington County and Greene County fully in that moderate risk zone. Now that's at level 4 out of 5 risk. We've got a significant level 3 out of 5 risk for Jackson, George, Mobile, part of Monroe County, northern Baldwin, and most of Clark County and southeastern Washington County, all included in that level 3 risk zone. So this is definitely a significant threat for us. Seeing some big lightning strikes to the west. This storm here briefly produced some lightning strikes, but has since weakened. That's why they're not seeing the consistency yet with the cells that we have in our area. Most of that is going to be back along the main line, and it'll really get rocking and rolling here later as this all comes through. So how does this all unfold? Well, Futurecast says around 5 p.m. we got to start watching out up here into Greene County. Some of those cells ahead of the main line that are currently a little closer to Hattiesburg right now will be coming through as we get into Greene County. And then by 7 o'clock, I would expect to see the beginning of the severe weather event unfolding for our area. This is going to happen dinner time and into the mid to late evening hours, and this thing is going to be in no hurry to move through. You're going to have that prefrontal line, and then you got the squall line itself. And so, you know, each one of these individual cells could rotate and become tornadic at any time. And that's through the 9 o'clock hour. we're going to see the focus begin to shift more towards the Panhandle late tonight, especially after midnight. And the leading edge showing up here by about 2 a.m. over in Okaloosa County. After that, we'll start to see better weather, and that will be the case as we head into your end of the week and weekend forecast. You're going to get a good 6 or 7 days of great weather in here, some spring-like conditions. A number of other advisories in effect: a wind advisory, coastal flood advisory, high surf advisory, all the things that come with that strong wind out of the south. That's going on now. We're also watching out for severe weather as we get into the evening hours, and really anywhere from the coast all the way to the inland spots. There's some potential for severe weather. With that, we're seeing what could be possibly some stronger than average tornadoes in our area. EF2s, EF3s, the kind of stuff we don't see all that often. So that's why we have a heightened sense of understanding about the weather pattern as we get into the evening hours with team coverage and all those things. We want you to have that awareness as well. Have your smartphone near where you can get those alerts, and also keep it tuned to Fox 10 News. We'll keep you safe, and we'll be tracking here on Fox 10.